Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be looking at CSS animations and how they help us improve the user interactivity and experience of our website. So CSS animations allow you to add smooth transitions and dynamic effects to your web pages, enhancing user experience and making content more engaging. Animations can be used to animate almost any CSS property, such as color, size, position, and more. Different rule to create an animation, basically to define the stages and to specify different styles during that sequence. Okay, so let's test that out with a simple example, a bounce animation. So let's use my HTML to generate the ball, basically a circle that I just want to go up and come back down. So create two files, index.html and styles.css. So my HTML, generate the structure, link my CSS. Okay, so basically I just want a div here. So I can just say dot ball, create a div class ball. My CSS now, I'll say the body. Let me remove all the margins, padding, box sizing. Okay, and I want it to have a background color of blue, basically. Now my ball, I want it to be a background color green yellow. Okay, so now to basically draw a circle with CSS, I just need my div to have the same width, same height, then a border radius of 50%. Okay, so let me use 200px, copy that. So for height to then border radius 15%. Okay, so now I want to check it out. Okay, good. So I have this. Now I want to basically put it somewhere down here. So it's gonna just go up and come back down. Display, flex, then here, and this is margin auto, then margin top 300px. Let me check that out. Okay, good. So now let's use 350. Okay, so now I basically just want it to go up, then come back down. Okay, let's create our animation. So I can create a comment here and say Ctrl// by the way, creating an animation. Okay, so now I can see add keyframes. So if you see this syntax here, identifier basically just means the name of the animation. So what you want to use to identify this particular animation. So I can just call it bounce. Okay, now as I said earlier, when we create animations, we have to define the different stages of that animation. So an animation is not just a constant act, it's different stages wrapped into one. So to define these stages, we basically use percentages. Okay, so the first percentage to start an animation should be 0%. So basically at the start of your animation, what do you want to happen? So I can define anything here. So for me, I can just say at the start, transform. Okay, so we use the transform property to temporarily change the state of our element. So whichever element is using this bounce animation, I want it to scale, just scale in general. So I want it to scale down to like 0.75. Okay, I want it to scale down at the start so like it will get smaller, then bounce up. Okay, so at 50%, so halfway through the animation, I want it to be up. Okay, so I'll transform it again, but this time I'll use translate y. So translate basically is also another temporary property to move the elements. So I could have used margin top, margin bottom, normal padding to move it around here, but I want to use translate Y. And note you can use any normal CSS property of your choice. Okay, so I can say as 50%, I want it to move up. And if you know the y-axis, as you're coming down, the downside is basically the positive values, while going, or downside is negative values, while going up are the positive values. So I want it to go up. Okay, so I have to use the opposite. So I'll say minus 300 px. Okay, then I want the background color. So when it's like up there, I want it to change to white. Yeah, I just want to change it to white. Then at the ending, 100%. So transform, come back to your original position. So I'll say translate y 0%. So 0% basically takes it back to its original position here. Then I can say background color. You should also go back to green yellow. So sadly, I can't actually test this out now because I just created the animation. I haven't linked it to this ball element yet. So we're going to use two quick CSS properties or two CSS animation properties right now. Then in the next section, we'll talk about more CSS animation properties that are useful to us. The first one is animation name. Animation name basically specifies the name of the animation that you are linking to this particular element. So I'll say bounce because I created the bounce animation. So it doesn't matter that I'm using it after or before I created the animation. It's compiling everything. Okay, then I can say animation duration. Animation duration specifies how long the animation is going to take place. You can specify it in milliseconds or seconds. So we're using seconds, yes. So bounce for 3 seconds. So just go up and come down, and everything should take 3 seconds. Let's check that out again. Smooth, right? Yeah. So if I refresh and see it again, goes up, scales, come down. See it one more time, goes up, scales, turns to white, and comes back down. So you can see very, very smooth. Okay, so feel free to pause at any point in time, go over the code again. So there'll be a link in the description to my own code, so you can check that out later. Now let's look at the different properties CSS provides. The one we talked about, animation name. So basically, after you've created the animation, you specify the name of the animation this particular element wants to use. Animation duration. Animation duration specifies how long the animation is going to take place to complete one cycle. Basically, one cycle is going to be the default cycle of that particular animation. Okay. Now, animation timing function controls the speed of the animation over time. The default is ease. We have different animation timing functions like ease, ease in, ease out, linear, and so on. So ease in, ease out is one of the most common uses. So basically means the animation should go smoothly as it's coming in, and as it's going out, it should also go smoothly. Very, very similar with ease, which is the default. So these defaults, basically, if you don't specify them, they're the ones that will take place. Animation delay. Animation delay specifies the delay in seconds or milliseconds before the animation starts. So if you don't want the animation to take place immediately, for example, you are designing the landing page of a website, so you don't want some specifics to take place immediately, so you can use animation delay to specify how long the animation should wait before it kickstarts. Animation iteration count. From the word iteration, it means loop. So basically how many times you want the animation to repeat itself. So you can specify numbers or you can use the infinite value. So infinite value just means keep on going forever. Animation duration. Animation duration specifies whether the animation should play in reverse on alternate cycles. Okay. Default is normal. So as you created the animation, that's how it should take place. You can also specify reverse, meaning the animation will do the opposite, or it will start from 100% and work its way down to 0% basically. Then we can alternate and alternate reverse, which will switch between normal and reverse itself. We have animation play state. So animation play state basically is more of like majorly used to like pause the animation. Okay, so if you don't want to comment out the animation, you can just pause it, or you can use JavaScript. So when the user presses a button, or if the animation is too flashy or something, you can basically put up a button, and if the user clicks that button, the animation wouldn't continue. So it's just pause animation play state. So let's see how we can use this in a real website scenario. So here, let me comment out my number one. I'll say simple H1. Okay, and I can say welcome to my website. Okay, so in welcome to my website. Okay, so a simple H1. So I just want a simple sliding animation. So then add keyframes. So I can call this slide in. Okay, so at 0% at the start of the animation, I'll say opacity. Remember, I can use any property, 0, so it shouldn't be visible. Then transform, translate X. I want it to come in basically, or -0. Then at the ending, come back to your original position and have your normal opacity, transform, translate X, 0%. So I'll come back here, H1, animation name, sliding, then animation duration. I can say 2 seconds. Okay, so if I want to repeat, I can use animation duration counts like we learned. I can say infinite. So I can see welcome to my website come out. So this one more like pops up. So I have to use -100%. So it looks like it's coming out from the screen. Okay. And I just want to make something clear. It's not necessary you only use 0, 50, and 100. You can only use 0, 100, and you can also define any percentage of your choice. So CSS will automatically know at 1% or 10% of this particular animation, do this. Okay. So you can define any percentage or any stage of your own choice. This is the introduction to CSS Animations Part 1. Part 2 will be coming out very soon, where we'll animate a full website. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to everyone that you know. Thanks a lot.